that's a bad idea.
Hello, old man. Why not talk about something you do know? Kind of.
Wait, did you just talk? What the fuck, am I tripping balls? I should've done that fucking acid earlier. What the...
Of course I can talk, but I don't give a fuck. Why have you reviewed this, you piece of shit?
What the... Oh, shit! Fuck! What the... Seriously? Fucking random talking ass cat? What the hell is the... A point... Random talking cat? I think you're onto something. I could talk about video games. No one else talks about video games on YouTube. Nobody! I mean, I don't really check out YouTube, but seriously. Mortal Kombat. I could talk about Mortal Kombat 11. Ooh, I love you, cat. I love you. All right, let's start this motherfucking review.
It's sexual, baby. And I want to give it all to you.
So, I married Lieutenant Princess over there. Always had a thing for blondes. Ever since Susie DiNardo.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yup!
Mortal Kombat 11 is the latest game from NetherRealm Studios, formerly Midway, and, well, is the 11th entry in this amazing, over-the-top, gory, fast-paced fighting game franchise. To say Mortal Kombat wasn't a backbone of my childhood would be an understatement. I remember quite fondly the time kicking people's asses in my local arcade on the original Mortal Kombat. Yes, I was a little 5-year-old kid, totally attracted by prospect for ripping people's heads off or kissing them to burn the ashes, literally sucking them up and spitting out their bones. But look where I'm at now. I mean, I haven't hurt a single living soul since now they are dead. But besides the point, was super duper motherfucking excited about this game coming out. I mean, Mortal Kombat 11, even that first trailer with that oddball music from 21 Savage.
It's time to battle. I'm the first one at the door. Yeah. Here we go. He needs some milk.
I still was super fucking pumped for this game. Nothing screams more to Mortal Kombat, and I just can't wait for this game. But does it live up to the hype? Does this game kick ass, or is it pure ass? Let's find out. First off, let's discuss the sexy aspects of the game, and why not start with the massive changes made? A friend of mine told me that not much changes between iterations. Well, guess what, buddy? They changed the movement speed in this game. Oh my fucking lord! They slowed down the movement speed from Mortal Kombat 10 in this Mortal Kombat 11. And didn't really change anything else. Just kidding! Outside of slowing down the movement speed, which by the way makes the fighting seem more methodical in nature, they made a ton of other changes to the core gameplay that quite impacted the overall fighting experience when compared to the previous entry. First, the bulky X-ray meter that basically everyone just used to build up those fancy-dancy devastating X-ray moves, gone! They instead introduced two separate meters, one for offensive attacks and another for defensive attacks. This is a great change since now you can focus solely on timing out enhanced versions of each fighter's moveset, perform stage invasions, juggle escapes, without the fear of draining away any precious resources from that dramatic X-ray move. This doesn't necessarily mean the X-ray move is gone completely. In its place is something called the fatal blow. And no, I'm not talking about what your mom does over the weekend. You can perform a character's fatal blow when your health gauge drops to below 30%. But be careful, since you can only connect with this move once during a match. This leads to quite tense standoffs when you take your skills online in those very last moments of a match. And talking about online, yes, it is buttery smooth. It has what you may expect, including casual fights, rank matches, a Keenan Hill, which basically it emulates how it was back in the good arcade games where you wait in line to take on the winner. Except in this case, it's like a virtual room with 7 other randos or friends. But who needs friends? As for fighters, damn, they have an awesome roster of 25 combatants with the consistent returning favorites such as Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Liu Kang, and Raiden, as well as a few surprises such as Jade and Frost. I didn't think I would see Frost again, but here she is, and man, she's pretty damn fun to play. Also, they added 3 new fighters to the roster. Garrus, a time-altering, brutish fighter. He's a bit slow, but man, he packs literally a punch. The Collector, who is almost quite literally a mixed bag of goodies and techniques that really changes up a match tempo in a blink of an eye. And finally, Centurion, who is by far the best design of any of the new additions, in my honest and simple opinion. She represents the forces of nature and loves to keep her opponents at bay with her multiple forms of projectiles. God damn, I love Centurion. The graphics, amazing. To say the least, it is crazy to think what they could do within a single generation of systems when you see how Mortal Kombat 10 looks and compare it to this. The lighting in Mortal Kombat 11 is more dynamic. Stages such as the Shuyo Ryu Fire Garden have multiple effects thrown in, like blowing leaves. You also have like little touches like the tournament stage where you have the arcade cabinet showing previous gameplay. It just shows a lot of attention to detail. And the texture work on the characters is more layered and detailed. It's so sexy. And yes, I love all the character redesigns as well. Quit asking me, Mom. As for the sound, the music and fighting effects are pretty dang dope. I mean, all the crunches, the bone, the punches.
That was fantastic.
Kitana wins.
And yes, the get over here. The only flaw is some of the voice acting. Rhonda Rousey wasn't on par.
Who the hell gave you that order? You did.
But I don't feel it completely kills the experience. And if you're wondering why the hell I brought that up, yes, this game does have a story mode like the previous entries, I love the story mode. This is something that started back in Mortal Kombat 9, and NetherRealm's been improving this type of mode in not only Mortal Kombat 9 and 10 and finally 11, but also in their other fighting series, Injustice 1 and 2. So what we see here in the story mode is just an over-the-top, fun, cheeky take on time altering. It's a time altering romp where basically it's the gaming equivalent of having your cake and eating it too. Want old school vengeful Scorpion? Well, you could have him and the new calm down buddy cop version of Sub-Zero as well. Which, by the way, is kind of weird to see Sub-Zero Scorpion friends. I go back to, play my boy Sub-Zero. If you're wondering who my boy is, it's Sub-Zero. And I always despise Scorpion. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Scorpion does look like a fucking badass. But besides the point, the story is just fun. It definitely has about, I believe, over 3 hours of cinematics. And the cinematics, I think, are pretty well goddamn done. And it's definitely a good time. And as me, I tend to play my fighting games actually more single player, which sounds atrocious. But I do. And so I love what NetherRealm is doing with single player content because outside of story mode, you also have other types of modes as well. You have the classic Mortal Kombat towers where you get the endings, like little nice animated endings that are narrated by the fighters, and in the dynamic Towers of Time, which changes daily. All this builds up to being able to collect rewards that come in the form of multiple different currencies with in-game currencies that you could use to get gear pieces and costumes for your characters. And there's tons. There's 60 costumes, and there's about, I believe, 90 gear pieces for each fighter. And this doesn't go to the cosmetic level of the characters. You could also change which type of moves you could have for your fighters. You could create new variations for your fighters. So as you play the game, you could be able to amass this and create your own variations. So do you like your Jax to have an anti-air grapple and a shoddy? You can now. And it's really nice to have this personal touch to how your fighter looks and plays, and it just feels so gratifying to finally have that. It adds so many layers to each combatant that hasn't been quite seen before in other Mortal Kombat games. Mortal Kombat 10 had these variations, but they were very simplified, and you only had 3. Now, bringing up the dynamic Towers of Time, this does bring me to the dirty.
Fatality.
While I haven't played a heck of a lot of the Towers of Time, I do have to admit that there is a bit of a grind to the proceedings, as the AI difficulty can be a bit too excessive. And also, on top of that, you not only fight these tough combatants, you also have to deal with a bunch of match modifiers thrown in that could just make the experience frustrating to say the least. Also, the rewards, furthermore, the rewards you get, they kind of dole out at a trickle. So it does take quite a bit of time. We're talking about, it could take over 3,000 hours of time to get every single piece in the game, which technically, do you want every piece in the game? But still, that is crazy to think that it takes so much time to get the game. And I do admit that this could seem to be a little predatory because the game does sell one of these currencies, the time crystals, as a side. Now, to give another at least a little bit of credit, they did mention that they are going to change how fast this currency amasses by increasing it and also decreasing the AI difficulty in this mode, which is nice to see that response. But I just want to touch on the fact so you know that this is still, as of now, a little broken. I also want to touch on the fact that some of the fighters feel a bit imbalanced, such as Shao Kahn. You could call me a noob all you want, a noob sidebot, but I had a lot of rough times playing against Shao Kahn. I see that a lot of people love playing as him, and I can see there's certain things he can do that he could trap you in a corner quite easily, and it's kind of hard to get out of. And that could be a personal thing with me. But on top of that, I can see a lot of people doling out some cheap tactics. But I can see over time that the developer, again, could balance these little quabbles out. So, but as of now, that's what we have to stick with. So what would I score the game? 11 out of 10! Seriously, though, besides that really stupid pun score, I would give it an 88,000%!
Man, what a night! What a great night to be an American!
Oh no, seriously, I would say this is a really good game. Do I really need to quantify this? Seriously? If you love fighters, this is for you. If you don't, well, this is probably not for you. That's simple but true. If you like fighting games, if you especially love Mortal Kombat, this does not disappoint. I swear to you now, on a stack of Scorpion and Sub-Zero nudie mags, this will not disappoint. Thank you guys for hearing me ramble on about Mortal Kombat 11. Time for me to finish this game off. Oh my.
He needs some milk.
Maria, it's your man Arnold. I'm still out in space. Please, could you please tell the maid to send those pictures? And I thought I told you to call for help. If I didn't, please call for help. I'm pretty low on my protein powder. I think I lost 2 pounds in my pecs. I just can't stand this. I cannot stand this. Maria. Oh, I also saw the movie too. It would be really awesome right now if a super powerful, ultra sexy babe were here to rescue me right now. Or Captain Marvel. Either way, who could that be? What is that big ship? Oh my god. No! No!